Yeah, yeah, yeah. We get
Sure.
cracking in here.
It's
What's
getting a
up,
little
Zach?
crazy. It's getting a little
What's up?
crazy, bro.
What's up, Zach? What's going on?
How you feeling with your New York Giants hat on, bro?
Yo, we trying to make it, man.
I
trying to
hope
get this.
so.
We trying to get this drafting going.
I hope so,
We
man.
we are trying to get this draft thing going, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Rush Hour Show live edition. I'm one of your hosts, Abraham Gonzalez, and I have Zachary Ochoa, who is the co-host of the show. What's up, Zach?
Nothing, man. I'm chilling. Today feels like a nice white tea day. You feel me? I just gotta be. It
Ah,
just. I just gotta feel like fresh in my white tea for today, man. Weather's getting
ah.
nice. It's looking real good. The air's smelling fine. I'm feeling alright.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, listen, I'm over here in Southern California. Weather's getting good. Weather's always good, but it gets a little bit it gets a little bit cold. It goes down to the 40s sometimes, and in the mornings, but then it goes up to 75, and it's good, man. We got a lot of stuff going on, not only in boxing, but like right now, you got the NCAA championship going on right now.
Yeah,
Bracket
that's right.
breakers is
That's
happening
right. Yeah,
everywhere.
a lot of stuff happening.
Um, Baseball starting to get moving again. What do you call it? The football draft is coming up in April. WrestleMania's in April. A lot of different things
Yeah, that's
going
right.
on, man.
Yeah, a lot, a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I'm sure that you're planning your exotic getaway somewhere to some
Somewhere,
island at some
somewhere.
point.
Yeah, somewhere. I'm thinking Peru, son. I don't know, man. Figure it out.
Okay.
I'll figure
All
it out.
right. And we're gonna get into everything. I'm gonna share this with Twitter right now. While the people going, shout out to the folks that are starting to fill in right now. I definitely see y'all. Let me see. Let's say
We'll talk
join
about
us.
some shit.
Yeah, join us now. Um, we got Fundora-Booker win in like 45 minutes. That's happening in Las Vegas. And right now in New York, they got the Star Boxing Rockin' 50 weigh-ins going on. And yeah, let me see. A lot of stuff here to talk about. Um, but what's up, Zach? Like, what's going on in all the chatter that's going on just in general about the sport, and as we move closer to the spring, summertime, where things are starting to heat up.
I mean, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. The main topic has just been still. This is how you know you might be still the face of boxing. Is when you know they still talking about Tank. Every time somebody's coming up to me saying, "Yo, Javante, he really lost that fight, man," or it was a close fight, or they keep people just keep bringing it up, man. It's like not that you got to understand. It's not by just by your wins. It's by your losses. It's by your little kinks in your armor that you know if you're the face of boxing or not. They keep on talking. They keep on talking about it. So that's what shows you a lot. You understand? They're talking about that, and then the next subject is, yo, what's good with all this with that Saudi Arabia money, man? They're making these big fights happen and all that stuff. These are the topics that I hear a lot. Now in the boxing world, you got a bunch of other topics. You got um like we're gonna be talking about soon. Amanda Serrano, also inviting another woman into MVP, which is pretty dope. All that
Yeah,
type of
let's
stuff.
let's let's talk about that right now. So,
Yeah.
Alicia Bumgarner, she recently signed with MVP. They made like a nice little video package with it, with Amanda Serrano, Jake Paul. Serrano on the side signed to an agency that also hosts like athletes and stuff like that. But she also, like a week or two, maybe a little longer, announced that she's going to be like the head of the women's boxing division within MVP. So like all these moves kind of like lead me to believe that like the end is super near for her. Um, what did you think of them signing Bumgarner, and what does the future look like with with Bumgarner leading the charge in the women's boxing for MVP?
I think Bumgarner, she's good, man. She's got a lot of pizzazz to her. She's very, how can I say? She's very outspoken. She's marketable. She got all the things. She just has one thing that everybody mentions, which is her testing positive. But she's moving past that. She's paid her dues for it. She's got all the slander. People still gonna do it, but I think it's a real smart move. What they've done with Amanda Serrano is amazing. They've changed her life. She's I love that girl, and it's a great to see what she's doing with MVP as well. Um, she's younger. Bumgarner's younger than Amanda Serrano. You understand? So if Amanda Serrano would have had like an MVP in the beginning of her career, just like she had now, oh, forget about it. She would be a star. But she is a star. But I'm saying she would be even bigger of a star. You understand?
Hmm.
But Bumgarner's just much more younger than Amanda Serrano, and Amanda Serrano's just solidifies herself. She's already solidified as a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest female boxers of all time in my eyes and to everyone's eyes. But now I can see her. She's laying. She's gonna sit back, watch it do what it do, take care of her business. Invite other people. Recruit other women, recruit other athletes, recruit other men from Puerto Rico or different places all over the place. So she's playing a good role. And when it comes to Bumgarner, man, forget about it. Sky's the limit for this girl because she's very marketable. She's got character, and she can fight her ass off. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like every time I think about Bumgarner, and this is like kind of like silly, but every time I think of her, I think of the one video meme where she's like laughing and giggling with her guy, and then she turns around and she has her arm up and she's talking that shit. Every time I think of her, that's the image that comes to my mind. I'm like,
That's funny, man.
cause she be talking that shit, boy, and I was like, yeah,
It's
but
crazy. She does. She's talked there. I've seen her talk to Clarissa Shields that way. You know what I'm saying? But it's wild, man. But she's gonna be good for her because this machine, which is MVP, right? They got a lot of people, whatever, but they're very good with they did good with Amanda Serrano, and they're gonna be very good, marketing and promoting um Baumgartner because
yeah.
just of who she is by itself.
Not only that, but listen, man. At the end of the day, it's a business.
It's a big business.
She's she's got a very appealing look. Is how I'm going to say it. She's got an appealing
No,
look
she
to
is.
people.
She's a good looking woman.
Yes.
She's a good looking woman. She can fight her ass off. She has the gift of gab. She can talk. Everything. The sky's the limit for this girl. The only thing is, just she has to just tone it down when it comes to replying to the mistake she made or whatever happened with
Yeah.
that. That's the only thing. Other than that, they're gonna push her big time. And
Yeah.
Amanda, she could retire right now. She's fine, man. She'll be good, but she's gonna have that another fight with Katie Taylor. It might
Hmm.
hang it up because she's been through so much. She's been through so many wars. You know, she gonna save her pretty face. She gonna retire and be chilling.
Yeah, and I think honestly, man, and I keep saying this, but I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Like if both of them just announced their retirement at the same time in the middle of the ring at the end of their third fight. That'd be crazy.
I mean, it really would be crazy. But the thing is, I wouldn't. Now, if Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano were cool, but still fighting each other, I could see that happening. But they're not. They're not like the coolest. So it's like that couldn't. I'm not sure if that would happen. But it would be
Yeah,
nice, though.
yeah. I mean, listen, if you're gonna hang it up and you're gonna hang it up on the biggest stage possible, listen, Madison Square Garden in the summer, New York City is the place to do it, man.
Oh
that's
yeah,
the
big
that's the
time,
place. That's the
big
place to do
time.
it. Shout out to my folks at the Last Round Boxing
Last round
Podcast.
boxing. I fuck with them.
Yeah, man, I mess with y'all. The tallest Mexican I've ever seen in my life, Danny. What's up? They've got their podcast. They have some great hosts. I mean, great guests, I should say. The podcast can also be found on my website, fightsatw.com. If you can't find it anywhere else, go to fightsatw.com on the homepage, and you can hit the player, and it'll give you the latest version or the latest episode of their podcast. Shout out to them. All right, so keeping it with Jake Paul, right? Um, he posted a picture. Well, he first said, "Yo, I want to fight Anthony Joshua," right? And then um, he posted a picture of a phone call, like a phone call on his cell saying, "Hey, he just spoke to Anthony Joshua, talking about fight with him in 2026." Is that something that is appealing? Do you think that's just because it's a slow boxing news week that they want to put that up, or do you think that's like a real thing?
I don't know, man. When it comes to Jake Paul, you don't know. You understand? It's just crazy. It's crazy still like that we have to talk when we talk about boxing, we're mentioning this guy Jake Paul. You understand? But guess what? We are mentioning him. You know why? Because he's making his moves in boxing. He's bringing a lot of views. He's bringing a lot of different audience to it. So it's got to be talked about. It's got to be mentioned, especially a guy that can make a lot of money and bring different fans to the sport. Whether it's for for banter, to playing around, anything. I don't know. It can be real because guess what? Jake Paul don't care. What's he got to lose? He can call out anybody. Of course, he's gonna call them out. Because obviously he's not a legit boxer, a legit boxer. But guess what? He can make the money and he can make the events happen. So nothing won't surprise me anymore when it comes to Jake Paul getting into these big fights because he can make it happen, and he knows he's gonna provide a lot for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Now, as far as
Uh,
Anthony Joshua, he just sit back like, "Hey, I'll find anybody. Shoot, let me make a quick whatever,
20, 30
multiple,
million dollars.
multiple. Look, multiple
Yeah.
millions. You
Yeah.
understand?
All right. Listen, I got who is it here? Oh, Mikey, what's going on?
Mike Woods, what
See,
up?
you see this face I'm making here? Crabby. I don't even know why. I love you, Abe. You know that. By extension, Zach. So let me get that mug off my face. But the reason my face was looking like that was because I was thinking, man, is Jake Paul just yanking our chain? And I think, Abe, you're very adept, honestly, at interviewing. And you also don't want to lead the question any which way, but I don't know. I kind of wanted that was the sourpuss in my face. Like X% of the time, Jake Paul is just throwing that shit out there just to fucking yank us by our chain. And I wonder how much that's still working. It's still working as well. PT Barnum saying never underestimate basically the amount of suckers out there, and it's unwise to do so. But I'm just trying to say, I guess I'm feeling like, as you guys were discussing it, am I just a sucker in Jake Paul's, world yanking us this way? Bros, the game has changed. I'm going to say hard, even in the last 6 months. Attention grabbing and trying to get fucking buzz. It's gone over the edge now. Teofimo and shit. I'm not even. By the way, I'm not like fucking hating on it. It's the way to fucking get ahead. But is it is it for the best? In other words, Jake Paul ain't really gonna fight fucking Joshua. But that's what was said about other things too. The kid is a little bit crazy. He might fucking do that. Anthony Joshua will knock your fucking block off, Jake, and I will pay some decent money to watch it. So,
Oh, we lost
Oh
him.
man, come on, man.
We lost him
Man,
in mid thought.
I need to go run to Mike's house real quick, man. But where he was going with this was, he's gonna knock your socks off, Jake, if you fight him. But what is gonna happen is gonna make a lot of money, a lot of time. Continue.
There we go.
so sorry, guys. I'm still kind of half an idiot with the technology. I don't know. Is it the StreamYard with the mobile and app and everything? There's a better mousetrap to be made, I think. right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
ain't. It ain't. This is a little bit more problematic because I'm not a total dope with this shit.
I
We'll
use it on
figure
the desktop.
we'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
that's
Yeah.
what they heavily encourage you to do.
Yeah.
But that's weird because this is not a desktop world.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's going back to what I was ranting about before. It's a
Yeah.
mobile world. It's a now world. It's get that buzz going and fucking. I don't know. Maybe I sound. Well, maybe part of my puss is like I'm sounding like an old fogey on it. So I throw it to you. Is it just me, or do you guys sometimes feel like, fucking Jake Paul's just, he's pointing me down rabbit holes, and I don't know. Am I a sucker for getting into it?
What do you think, Zach?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Please.
When it comes to him, when it comes to Jake Paul, I don't think about him when it comes to boxing. It's just an honest thought from a real fighter. I don't think about him when it comes to boxing. Now, when people start bringing up events and start mentioning, like certain things, Netflix, pay-per-view buys, then you start thinking about, Jake Paul. But and when it comes to real boxing discussions, us fighters, we don't never talk about Jake Paul because we're really in there. You understand? We're making these fights. Yeah, hopefully Mike, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so when I'm talking with my boxing boys, nobody's bringing up Jake Paul. When us fighters are talking all together amongst each other in the gyms, all that, nobody's bringing up Jake. Like we don't think about that.
Your audio, Mike.
Can't hear you. Yeah, he's definitely cursing. He's cursing, guys. He's cursing. They can't hear him curse, but he's definitely he cursed again. He's cursing. Look, he's still cursing, but we can't hear him.
You
Look,
can, yeah.
he cursed. Yeah.
Oh, here we
You can
go.
hear me now. No,
I can hear you now.
this is an anti-StreamYard rant. Up top, it says StreamYard guest, open in the StreamYard app.
No.
I went and opened it, switched over to the app, and it cut off the audio. So then now I'm
Yeah.
I'm back on the not app, just off the mobile URL. Fuck. Anyways, so yeah, that got me swearing.
Oh, so hold on. So hold on. So and this is gonna lead into another
But
topic, but it also touches on what you've been talking about, Mike.
yeah,
Doug Fisher, editor in chief, Ring Magazine, right? He had put out like a tweet talking about like Turkey, and then everybody was like, "Oh, is Doug going against the grain? This, that, and the third." And
yeah,
then Turkey fired back, but then like 2 days later, they were sitting on a couch and they recorded a video like laughing together. And it then Doug came out and said, "Oh, well, I wanted to see who was with me or who was against me, and stuff."
fucking
And I
a.
was like,
That sounds
I
like
was
that's
like, "What? Like,
that sounds like
are we,
madness, paranoia, but funny, but I don't know what. Yeah.
yeah, like what? Like, are we
All right,
really
so
like
Abe, are you
creating
saying
stuff or?"
this is all part of a brand new age and we're all just fucking trying to figure it out as we go, what's real and what's not?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
look, even with Turkey, he injected the news about not messing with Canelo, and then Canelo signs or whatever. And so like it's just real confusing. So that leads into what I was gonna say is um Turkey Alalshikh versus Gary Jonas. So the owner of Ring Magazine versus the owner of ProBox slash boxing scene, right? So the
Slash,
story.
slash, slash, what's the name of his medical rehab facility as
Oh
well?
shit, I don't know.
That's
It's
part of
a
but
rehab.
that's part of the story too. Yeah.
So
Slash,
um
slash, slash.
one of his writers, Lance Pugmire, did a story, and it blew up because it's a slow news week, so everybody was on it. He was talking about the TKO um, Dana White situation and how much fighters are going to get paid. So a little snippet of it, and I'm just going to read off on the purses part. It says 20,000 for a 10-round bout by an unranked fighter, 50,000 when ranked by the company at number 5 to number 10. 125,000 when ranked by the company at number 3 to number 4, 375,000 when challenging for the company championship, and then 750,000 when defending the company championship. That got a lot of people, and then there was language in there that was like, there would be like a good faith in trying to get you a fight again, like in 5 months or something like that.
Good.
Then,
I saw that and I laughed at good faith. No offense to
so
anyone.
so then Turkey came back and he says, and this is now deleted post from the Ring Magazine account.
Now it's
Um,
deleted.
Now it's deleted. This article is not factually accurate. I think Gary Jonas should focus on his business in Florida because he doesn't want the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, to call him again. I'm wondering what is the structure of his business model with the rehab facilities and boxing. So now you got the two biggest platforms in boxing that also are promoters, I guess, battling against each other for the right to say that they're the king of the jungle, so to speak. Um,
Can I say New
Well,
York
hold on,
reference?
hold on.
King of all
They're
media.
while they're while they're while their egos are running rampant through social media.
So you are bringing this up. I don't want to say that I know all the content everywhere, but this story is underreported, and it really hit me as you were summarizing. It's the two guys who own the two biggest media platforms, Ring and boxing scene, and so they're slugging it out. But it's by proxy, right? It's by other people, other warriors doing the hardcore. Lance Pugmire is battling on behalf of what? Guy who signs his paycheck. Doug Fisher is doing what? Doing good work, sure. At the behest of the guy who signs the checks. And that power that is exerted by those people in this day and age is higher than I've ever seen before. Furthermore, it got me thinking, Abe, as you were summarizing, I've worked for myself for a long time, since 2014, 9 years. And also in that time, and then after that, I've worked for companies. Companies aren't nice. Working for myself and finding people and doing business with, companies don't have empathy. Companies don't have heart to heart human being as much. Corporations are not my friend. So all that is in my head as I'm mulling, Abe, what you are summarizing, what is more of the story right now within boxing writ large than really anyone is fucking figuring out.
Yeah, now Zach, you're hearing this, right? You're hearing the backstory. You're hearing what Mike has to say. You as a fighter, like, how do you how do you approach this type of situation? Um, are you even concerned with aligning yourself with one or the other and potentially having repercussions from it? Like how do you approach that? How do you look at that?
It's really hard as a fighter, because you wanna be you wanna be available to anyone. You understand? You wanna be available to everybody. You know, that's like not having a manager. Like the top guys that don't have names, that the top guys that have names that are big names that don't have managers. Oh, they're so happy, and they're free agents because they can work and do whatever they want to do. But they have to have good advisors and good lawyers. You understand? But the people like in my position or anything like that, and it's hard for us because we want to get certain fights with, like, we want to be get a fight like on a Turkey Alalshikh card, or a Riot season card. We want to get fights, with ProBox and all these things. But it's hard because if you're doing business with one person, they might say, no, he went over there and fought, let him stay over there, and no, he did the same, vice versa. It's really hard. So it would be a team discussion that you would have to have internally in your camp to figure out what's the best move. But no matter what, if you can fight, but even if you can't fight, if you're marketable and promote yourself correct, they'll fucking take you anytime because they need the viewers and they know you're gonna bring viewers. So even that gets thrown out the window. But if you don't have viewers, if you don't have fans, nobody, you're a hole, you came out of a hole in the wall, whatever, that's gonna be hard. You're gonna have to fight your ass off and look good. Now, as far as the entertaining part with people playing around, going back and forth, it's sad to me. It's sad. All these you know why it's sad? I don't like it. People playing, and next thing you know, it's looking like WWE, bro. It's looking like WWE. It's looking like I don't like it. It breaks my heart because it's like we taking boxing and turning into, let's make it more fun, but don't make it a game. It's not a game. This ain't no fake story stuff. I've had my closest friends die in this sport.
Facts.
We've lost families because of this sport. You know what I'm saying? Our own lives, and this is not a game, bro. Let's entertain, but at the same time, when you fucking get in there, Sugar Ray Leonard, when he's fucking walking down smiling, as soon as he gets in the ropes, stone cold killer. Let's
Assassin.
keep it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm gonna dish it off to you, Mikey. This this feels like to me. All right, we had Aram and King going at it in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
And into the 90s. Then
Glory
we
days.
had
Yeah.
then we had Mr. Al Heyman going against, it was Al Heyman versus the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that has settled a little bit. Is this now ring versus pro box slash boxing scene the new and latest version of that in 2025?
Could
When
be.
you told me that ring post, which was Turki Alalshikh trying to rotisserie Gary Jonas through mouth and anus, motherfucker, bringing up shit and casting hard aspersion, that told me that the situation is as you described. Now, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, we're almost there. Gary would like to be there, I think. But what you alluded to, old warhorse, he's not fucking 94 yet. He's fucking 93. Been around a long time. Don't dismiss out of hand. Also, if anyone's thinking, oh, he's on the out. When he is gone, then I will believe. But what I'm trying to say is those guys, Turki Alalshikh and Gary, have both correctly seen the landscape. King is done. Aram, they perceive to be almost done. Heyman hasn't been seen for a year and a half. Fighters are booking shit themselves. Well, if I have tens of millions of dollars and want to maybe get market share real quick, now's the time to do it. Gary Jonas decided that in 2021. Turki Alalshikh decided that in maybe 2023. So now it's a battle of bucks, big bucks, daddy war bucks, but it's asymmetrical warfare. Saudi funds, open fund, open market, as long as Turki Alalshikh is allowed to do it. Gary Jonas, and this is why I referred to the other job he has, the other revenue stream he has, rehab facilities. Not the same level, not the same size of, not as many gold bars to work with. So very fucking interesting time. If you like the business side of the sport and the promotion, all that, it hasn't been more fascinating in forever, since the 80s. But now it's different. And let me kick to what Zach said and kick it to thinking of the fighters. Generally, businesses, consumers that have more choices, more options, it is better for them than in situations where there is consolidation and monopolization. Going back to what I said about, have I liked working for myself or for companies better? This is what that Lance Pugmire story was getting at. And it was pretty overt because the language in there, it communicated that, wait a second, fighters, the lowest tier they can make, well, they make 20,000 a fight, but they're only obligated to the company is only obligated to have them fight twice in a year? Do the fucking math. I'm horrible at math. It's not a sustainable living. So that was what, as I
what
was
is it?
reading
All right,
it,
all right, all right, let's do that. Let's do that math. You know,
let's
a
do
lot of
it.
these, a lot of these guys. What is it? They got. Let's say they're getting 25 or 30% out of their check or more. They're gonna get maybe like 40. Let's say 40% out of their checks because a lot of most fighters do 40% out of their checks, right? $20,000. They're gonna walk away with what? Maybe like $11,000 or something like that, right?
And
And
then
say
keep
they
chopping it up.
send
Keep
they have
chopping
to
it
send
up to
they have
manager,
to
to
give
tax man, to
the
training.
taxes. They have to give something. They have to give at least $200, no, $2,000 to their trainer.
Yep.
They gotta give some money to the funds that they did, and then they have to pay the taxes, and then they have to do the write-offs. I get it, but guess what? What are you fucking walking away with? $10,000 in gross a year. We're doing multiplication. The 40,000 dollars in total. We're talking about here. You're not making a lot of money. We make that
Yeah.
doing other things outside of boxing. More than that. Come on, man. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's almost. Oh man.
So,
Now I tell you. No,
so
hold on, Mike,
yeah,
hold on. And I say this that
yes.
that obviously the capture of those purses and the amount is we don't know if there's more to that. Like there could very well be other things that
Right.
tie into that. Now, obviously, the story didn't have that because if the owner of the company of Boxing Scene wanted to sound like a certain type of way, then he's not gonna add that in there, right?
Ding, ding, ding,
Not
ding, ding.
not saying Lance is not a stand-up guy because he 100% is, but he's also an employee of the employer who's trying to get a point across. So,
Mhm.
and that's not no disrespect to anybody. That is business 101, period.
No,
So,
you're right. You're right, Abe. You're absolutely right. And we don't know what's in the real contracts. You know what I'm saying? They could be taking care of these guys. You understand? They could be giving them money on the side, as long as they're part of that
So
contract.
there is a way
All that
that
type
we
of
can fix this.
there's any, I
Show us
don't
the
know.
contract.
Yeah.
Show us it's what why is it
Yeah.
so why does it have to be hidden so much?
Hmm.
Show us the contract. No, you don't have to because it's a private business.
I can show you my
But
contracts of what I've had.
but it's not as private a business when you're doing it under the umbrella of a publicly traded company. It's
mhm.
not as right. You're not you public and private is. n- eh, Let me say this though. Let me give a props to Oscar De La Hoya. I wrote at Ring since 2014 to 2022. And never in that time was there ever any suggestion, any poke, any, hey, can you fucking write this to make me fucking look good? That changed hard. Now, is it wrong? Is it bad? Whatever. I'm here to maybe not make that judgment, but I am here to alert people to it, how to read and interpret the news, quote unquote news. It ain't it ain't news if they are cool with you knowing it. It's public relations drop.
Boom. Know the difference.
But if I'm a fighter, I don't want to bring that up. I might want to fight on one of them guys' cards.
Mhm.
If I'm a writer, I don't want to bring it up. I might like a step up in pay and to be hired on one of those guys, even if it's part-time and whatever. Not great. Um, so what happens? People are silent. People are not being honest. Not fully fucking honest. Not
It's the
at all.
truth. It's the truth. And you can
This is the
correlate that.
truth.
You can correlate
This is
that.
the fucking New York truth.
That is the truth, the double truth, Roof. And you can correlate that with the media not being able to say
Clap
something.
back fucking Friday. This is the New York truth.
If you say something about a fighter, Their fighter might say something to their manager. Their manager might say something to the PR people that's a part of the promotion. And guess
Rat him
what?
out. People
That
ratting each other out.
that media
Yep.
person is not getting a pass to
Bingo.
the next.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Man,
I'm
it's
and
fucked up. I don't really like that. Let the
No.
critics say whatever. I don't like certain critics. That's fine. But guess what? They have to do their job. They have to come down. They
As
have to
long
be
as they're
there.
doing it honestly.
and you
Fucking
know what?
so I appreciate if Doug Fisher is saying, yeah, that was a gag. I would rather be fucking told. I feel a little bit foolish believing it up front, but I appreciate you telling me that it's a game, that it's more like WWE and we're doing skits now. But the people don't maybe love that. If I go
Oh,
on social media and look at the comments, people are like, yeah, they're saying what Zach said. There's a purity lost, and it's flippant. This is not something to be flippant about. It's not a
Mhm.
game, is what Zach is saying, and he fucking knows because he's taken them fucking hard shots, bro, and felt pain days and weeks after.
yep.
And then doing that, and still, it's almost impossible, except for a certain tier of people, to make a fucking living at it. What the fuck is fair about that? It
Yeah.
isn't fair. Well, life isn't fair. We know that, but some things are more unfair than others, and that's fucking bullshit.
And
Fighters should be able to fucking make a living, man.
and along with those lines, man, I've seen a recent trend where and this could be just because of like the rise of guys and girls covering fights from a YouTube platform or a Twitch platform or whatever. But fighters kind of demanding, in not so much demanding, but like requiring in of sorts an apology if somebody picks against you. And I've seen that's a recent trend that's on the
Oh, I know what
rise,
you're so. I know what you're talking about.
and
Yo,
I don't
listen.
like that.
Yo,
I
I
don't
peeped that,
like that.
Abe. Yo, I'm gonna be honest. What I've said before was like this. I said, yo, Ryan Garcia gonna flatline Rolly. This is most likely true.
Yeah.
But guess what? If Rolly knocks out Ryan Garcia, I ain't gonna be like, nah, man, my bad. I'm gonna be like this. Hey,
No.
that's what I thought it was, but good shit. You feel
Yeah.
me? This
People
apologizing
having to
stuff,
kiss. What you're saying
making
is
making
people having to kiss so much ass now.
it's too much.
Fuck
It's too
that.
much. You understand?
Yeah.
It's taking away
Ass kissing shit.
that hardness of
Yep.
boxing, which is just ruthless. You understand? We're
Yeah.
ruthless as a sport. We don't care about a lot of things, but it's
Yeah.
turning soft. We're becoming soft. The media, they're playing around. Everybody's shaking their ass, trying to fucking get viewers for any little thing. I
Right.
understand if you're yourself and you're just naturally like that, you're promoting, you don't care, you're just chilling. Cool, but you can tell when it's too much, when people are trying
Yeah.
too hard, when even the promoters are trying too hard, when the fighters are trying too hard. We have to make it authentic. You understand? Make it authentic, and that's what the people love, authenticity. But guess what? This generation, they love fake stuff. They love fake ass. They love fake this. They love fake
And
this.
listen, and there's
Fake
200
records.
and there's 243 people here on the live with us. The link to the chat is on the comments section of AG
Write
Boxing
something.
on YouTube. Hit the comments, or if you want to join us live, you don't have to show your face. Hit that too. You could join us. I'll put you in the show, and you could say what you want to say, talk your shit, ask questions, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Woods, what?
So
Yeah, go ahead.
So
I'm
if
sorry. What's that?
if anybody watching this right now, if you want to comment something, comment something. We can
Yeah.
talk about it. Nobody's excluded from this conversation because it involves the whole world. It involves everybody, especially us fighters. But I feel like boxing has become like almost like a gimmick.
Mm,
It's almost like a hey, I know I can make a quick 50,000. Let me just make this fight set up between these two rappers real quick and then they make it. It's just like the crypto scene. Oh, I realized I can make real quick money off of a coin. Let me make a coin, use all these people, get money and leave. It's not sustainable. And this right here will
Crypto.
not be
Yeah.
sustainable when it comes to boxing. You're going to see how long this shit lasts
Uh huh.
with all this it's going to be soon it's going to be back to who can really fight,
Hmm.
who's marketable, and that's that. Real
yeah.
simple. Not all this fake stuff. It's too much. It's a little too much.
Yeah, and then listen, we're gonna move on from this to something that Mikey had posted on X first before anybody else had mentioned it, which was Javante Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach being targeted for June.
Very good.
Mikey had posted that. Chris Mannix ended up putting something out where he said it was June 21st, Las Vegas. Um, there was also some conversations that Tank versus Jake Paul was supposed to be announced after the Tank fight, but because of how the fight ended, it wasn't. I don't necessarily believe that because too much of a weight disparity. But Tank versus Roach, Las Vegas. Are you glad to see that we're getting this fight within 6 months of the first one, and B, that we're actually getting the rematch next and not an interim fighter too? I kick it to you, Zach, first, and then we'll go to Mike.
Yo, I love it. I love it. Straight like that. Straight from the Maidana 1 to Maidana 2. Straight like that. No waiting.
Mm.
Straight like that, bro. You know why? Because it's gonna prove it. Because if he goes and knocks out Lamont, hey, well, then what you're gonna see? Nobody gonna see a third fight because that's smooth. You understand? But hey, if Lamont wins, he stepped on it. Boom. I told y'all. I told y'all. And and that's a great win for Lamont. But yo, people want to see that. They want to. That's all people talk about in the streets. So guess what? That's even a bigger fight. They don't even fuck about Javante. People talking about Javante. What's this kid's name? Keyshawn Davis trying to call out Javante. Shakur. Nobody cares about that no more right now. People care about Lamont Roach fighting Javante Davis again. So Javante Davis could either solidify himself as the best or solidify that loss that Lamont gave him. You understand?
And yeah, and Mike, listen, this could very, I don't know, man, like it could be a Vernon Forrest, Sugar Shane Mosley situation.
Oh my goodness, that's
Hey,
crazy. That's a
what
crazy
you've
I'm
been
just
doing this
comparison.
a
That
while?
was yo, that's
You're
good. That's a good
yeah,
comparison.
your knowledge goes back more than
He did a
five
little
years.
homework. He
Congratulations.
did a little homework there, right? That's an HBO
come,
boxing type
come
of.
on, man. I
Come
mean,
on, man.
a lot of people didn't think Vernon Forrest was gonna put the beats on him, but he had his number, bro. Plain and simple. And we don't know. Maybe Lamont Roach has Tank's number. Maybe, just maybe.
And Ricardo
Agree.
Mayoga comes out.
Yeah,
The
I
what?
mean,
Ricardo Mayoga, then he
Oh
comes
yeah.
out. Right?
yeah. I mean,
Listen.
I don't know. So, Mike, like, what do you think about all of this? What do you think? I mean, I know
Well,
you
when you
posted the
first
news and
right,
everything.
when you first started saying, hey, they're gonna do this and it's gonna be June, whatever, and I said the experience side in me fucking kicked in. I'm like, what date is it? What month is it? When it's booked, when it's there, when they're both there, when they're not injured, you know what I'm saying? A lot of shit can fucking happen.
Yo, he
So
knows. I was gonna say
But
that.
I will add, Mike, I will add that that is near Juneteenth. So that is likely to happen just, because they align it with the holiday.
well, I have Abe, as you know, as knowing me for I don't know 12 or whatever years, that I have a different brain, and
Hmm.
sometimes my brain just definitely goes in different directions, unintended or whatever. But it's as you're bringing it up, it's bringing me that in that other direction again, and it's about the balance of power and who's running boxing and the platforms and etc. Gary Jonas, who Zach has fought for, who I work for, who Abe has done work for. Let's all put that on the fucking on the record now. Is the promoter for Lamont Roach,
Or the
and
business.
I'm and right, and so and I'm gonna salute old Gary for backing a guy who is a fucking solid guy who Abe just said might have the number of the superstar, PBC's last real superstar. So that's where my brain went to. So kind of a fascinating little shift. And it was a notable shift because 2 weeks after that, I'm seeing Gary Jonas doing videos talking about or doing interviews talking about the circumstances in the Roach Gervonta Nysack situation. then we're seeing him basically situate himself as the main competitor to Turki Alalshikh.
He has all the right though. He's doing
Yeah,
his
I'm
thing.
not saying you don't have the right. That's what I'm
Doing his
saying.
thing.
Props
Doing
to
his
a guy
thing.
who I don't have a tremendous amount of personal feelings for. So, and by the way, I pat myself on the back because that is part sometimes of being right. Zach knows. Knows better than me because the harder business is the one he's been in. Abe knows because he's been in places and done jobs and whatever. It's no fucking yeah. Gary can be a. I wouldn't work for Gary again. Let's put it that way. He's a hard boss. So I feel for maybe a Lance Pugmire. See, I just fucking see things different. I feel for Lance Pugmire because a guy is paying you a good salary, and then sometimes they think that those people, and I'm straying away from Gary and just talking in general, those people think they own you. And with those big sums of money, or not even that large sums of money, if you're just scraping to get by, people have that control over you. And so I'm going to swing back to what I said before. It's nice to have options. It's nice to be able to go to Golden Boy or
Yeah, that's real.
Matchroom for
Yeah.
my services
Mm.
and shop around a little bit. You, watch out, people. You might miss that shit when it's gone. Maybe you didn't know how good you had it with that little, right? When it's one. And by the way, UFC fans and boxing/UFC fans, again, I read the comment sections a lot. That's where you get the real people, just the mix of, and a lot of people like boxing people. I don't want Dana White coming in. I know what his track record is in paying guys, much more so than I would have thought. That's the thing that is more out there than it was 10 years ago. Now, especially younger people, right? Gen Z, they are woke and not in a fucking stupid political woke way. They know they cut through bullshit better than older generations do because they're just a lot of them are just surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the roughest part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, that was a hot topic. That's just what it is.
You got me going. New
Let's
York minute, hot New York minute, bro.
let's see if Tank versus Roach happens in June. And keeping with the New York theme and New York minute, um, there's a show down there in Long Island, New York, tomorrow at the Paramount, New York. Star Boxing is doing their Rockin' 50 fight, and it's headlined by Junior Yonan versus Abel Mina.
Bless you.
We had bless
Thank
you. We had invited Joe DeGuardia through his PR guy to come on the show, but it looks like they haven't been able to get in contact with him. So I guess we'll just move
Shout
on
out to my
without him.
guy, Sugar Boy, man. You know what I'm saying? Sharif Yunan, shout out to Sugar Boy, man.
Now,
You and Sugar Boy are lost. I'm gonna check the DNA.
That's my
You guys
guy,
look
man.
alike a little bit, bro. I used to mix you guys up. I'll be honest with you.
That's my
oh,
guy, man.
yo, so he's headlining. He signed with Star back in 2024, early 2024. Um, he's got this fight. He's been headlining a couple times with Star. Do you think that this fight, or maybe he just needs another one after this, should be the ones that take him to the bigger fights at 168? Or is he ready for the bigger fights right now? Has he been on the bench, so to speak, or on the sidelines so long that it's now or never now because of that? What you think, Zach?
I mean, I'm be honest, man. I knew Sugar Boy since we were young. You know what I'm saying? And I watched him grow up. And guess what? Sugar Boy is one of the talent. Like when I'm talking about good, I'm talking about this motherfucker was good. I'm talking about talented, good, winning all titles as a young kid in the amateurs, everything. And people were expecting him to be like the big like the big name, you know what I'm saying, in professional boxing and everything. But you know, he's been doing this so long. Of course, sometimes you lose a little, like, I'm not going to say love for it, but like that passion for it. You know, he has a great father, Sharif, who was hard on him and him growing up and everything like that. But Sugar Boy, he's always been in boxing since a kid. He was born into it. You understand? And he's a good fighter. You know, just the mental part of the boxing outside the ring and everything. You know, it could affect us. You understand? So when it comes to somebody like him, man, if he's not active, it's not good for him. He needs to be active. He's a solid fighter. He's tough. He's strong. He can punch. He's got good skills. You know what I'm saying? He can talk his shit. Sharif can fight, man. Union can fight. He can do his thing. He can do whatever he wants, but he just hasn't had those. He's had opportunities, but you understand when it comes to us New York guys, a lot of the way the media looks at New York guys and the boxing people, they look at us as front runners, or they look at us as fighters that we're a flash in the pan. We're good for a little, and then but if we don't dominate, they move on to the next. That's how us New York fighters are looked at, no matter who it was, and it's been like that forever since Zab Judah and everybody. You understand? So that's why the New York fighters have to stick around, have to fight their ass off. Um, Richardson Hitchens have to fucking wait man long to get a title, while Shakur and all of them have already titles. You understand? So you have to make the most of what you can with it. So Sharif wins this fight. Go get that big fucking fight. Prove everybody wrong.
Mm.
That's it's just the honest truth.
What you thinking, Mikey? Joe DeGuardia, 50th anniversary of Rockin' Fights. The guy's been just around and has made it through the COVID era, through it all, and keeps on putting on shows. You're there close enough to know, understand. I've also called some of his fights on Star Boxing TV. So, thoughts on the event as a whole, and Junior being either ready or not for the next level.
My first reaction is thank you, Zach, for giving that summary of how he sees it. That's as it should be. Zach is that in-ring guy who fucking knows. So if he thinks that Junior at 29, been doing this a long time since he was not a teen, since he was a little kid, if he thinks if Junior wins on Saturday that a big one should be next,
Big time.
listen to fucking Zach more than me, because I'm gonna get a little paycheck from Joe for calling the fights tomorrow, okay? But I hope everyone knows me well enough that I do like not to bullshit it as much as some people bullshit, because it irks me that we're in an age of bullshitting. If I'm calling a fight, sometimes it really sounds, not calling any specific names, and it's been going on a long time, but it sounds like an infomercial. Stop that. Stop that. Um, but your introduction, Abe, pretty much says it. Joe DeGuardia, what comes to mind is persistence and opportunities. It's hard. You're a small business owner, you know. People who give other people opportunities, who take risk, and then, right? I appreciate that. So Joe isn't always appreciated because it's fucking dog eat dog in business and in New York. It's every people fight over
Yo,
dimes and
man.
nickels, bro. They fight over dimes and nickels. So, but he's given a lot of people a lot of opportunities. He's come a long way. He's had fights at locations that were very not fancy, like the Paramount and really nice theater in Huntington, which is a fancy town in
Uh
Long
huh.
Island. So
Uh huh.
fucking salute a little bit for persisting, for giving a lot of opportunities, still being in the mix. And in all the years that I've dealt with him, there isn't too much in the way of bullshit, which I can't fucking say the same for a lot of people. A lot of fucking people, He might, he as a guy who, if he don't want to answer it, he might, not fucking return the call or whatever. But I would appreciate that more than being lied to by people. So, couple points there, but sort of tip of the cap to the guy. I appreciate being fucking hired. Be honest with you, So appreciate tip of the cap for that, but tip of the cap for persistence and for providing opportunities because y'all got to eat. Fighters
Yep.
got to eat.
I want to say that you can probably count on both your hands, just both your hands, the local promoters that are still out, and I'm talking about 10, maybe in the whole United States that are still
Yeah.
giving shows. I'm not talking about the big ones. I'm
The
talking
whole
about the
United
local.
States. You're right.
The whole United States, you can probably count 10.
Yeah.
10. Maybe we come back on the next show after you can do some homework and see who are those 10 people that are still throwing local shows. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
With Tom
No, that's
Alford.
Yo,
and
it's don't
yo
it's not gonna take that long. We could probably do it in 3 minutes now. But yeah, the
and
point being, it's
and
shrunken. It's
and I was
shrunken.
gonna say, like, Tom now he got like officially a deal with UFC Fight Pass where they giving him one show a month every month for this year.
Yeah, and that's about to go out the local category. That's about to, you leave, you
Hmm.
graduate from the local shows you're throwing to that. You understand?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Shout outs to Daniel Gaylor who just joined. He said insurance costs must be killing these local promoters.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Especially
Yeah,
after what happened to the heavyweight, remember, Mike, in New York?
Yes, sir. Oh, after that, New York really snapped to attention, said, we're not going to have a repeat of this. So that is a hard disinducement for people to do business in New York. That's part of what I'm praising DeGuardia for. Lou DiBella bowed out, man.
yeah,
DiBella
Lou
bowed
DiBella
out.
he used to throw some good shows. I fought on a couple of his
Yep.
cards. He used to throw some good shows, man. Shout
So
out to Joe
But
DeGuardia,
Joe is
though.
persisting.
Oh yeah, he's
You know,
doing it.
Lou is a little
Oh,
bit, maybe a little bit older. He's like 63 or something. And so that factors in. You only have so much energy sometimes for shit.
and
So
still
saluting Joe
combustible.
for, yeah, bro. Especially when you're combustible. Hey, fuck you. Yeah.
but I really like, what I like? I like
Yeah.
that if you do good, like say for instance, if you're fighting with Star Boxing, you're doing your thing, they give you opportunity to fight and you kill it, all that, guess what? You might be able to go on to a pro box fight. And a pro
Mm-hmm.
box fight might zoom you to a fight with a Javante Davis type of fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love to see. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. That's why you can't just have big, two big names doing it. No, you need the look. You need the stepping stones. You need those. It
Joe
catapult your
DeGuardia has
career.
done that over the years, from David Telesco to Chris Algieri, et cetera, other names that more local hardcore fans and you remember. Oh, okay, he's done that before. Now, but the times were different.
Hmm.
Showtime was doing boxing, HBO was doing boxing.
ESPN.
So a lot of people are still doing boxing, but at the same level, the size of platform, the rights, the fees, the deals. Remember, Showtime kept the amount that Showtime would give for the boxing program kept going down, 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 down. We're HBO, no more boxing. It's not mainstream. So anyone fucking staying alive and still doing it through all this, I salute you. And I especially salute you as someone who will say, I appreciate when they do the fights in this country and I see the people
Yeah,
in the arenas excited about it. And there isn't that disconnect that I do feel, right or wrong, but as opposed to when the product is dispensed from Saudi Arabia.
yeah,
Right or wrong?
Yeah, and listen, I mean they, yeah, and even Golden Boy, I would
Yeah.
say to a
but
lesser
they're not
degree,
local though. They
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 they're
they they're
not
the big,
local,
but they do
but
do a lot of shows. Okay,
they do a
yes,
lot of local
Yeah.
okay,
type of shows. You know what I mean? Like the Fantasy Springs, the
yes,
Commerce.
yes,
Those are
yes.
like small shows on a Thursday night, but they
Okay, yeah,
do
you
them
could put that.
all
You
the
could count that in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah
Yep,
they
yep,
do them
yep.
all the time, and
That's
and it keeps their fighters busy. Keeps
Yep.
their fighters busy.
Little money
Um,
rolling in too. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And to your point before where about Oscar, speaking of Oscar,
Yeah.
you're right. Like you never really heard of him having an influence on what was being put in the ring. He
You
stayed out
didn't.
of it and he
He
owned it.
totally did, bro.
And people
Uh-huh.
assumed that he had influence, but not really.
No.
He had the um he just didn't want to be looked at in that fashion to
He
where
somewhat didn't care in a good way.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
You know how I
mostly
know
in a
it
good
was
way.
true.
Yeah.
You know how I know it was true is that one time I was on Golden Boys, one of their hottest prospects, right?
Yep.
And I was in there, and they wrote a good little article about me. And in that same Ring magazine, they wrote the one of the worst nicknames in boxing, and I won. Zungri. That was the one of the worst. And it's like they can't have an influence. I mean, obviously you could
Yeah.
nudge the shoulder, hey, write about this kid, but you know, like
Yeah.
it's not biased. It wasn't too
No.
biased. You understand?
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And listen, I'm gonna lightly tap into this Australia show. He said time off PC shows from LA are brilliant, great time zone to watch in Australia. Yeah, that's a perfect segue. I'm gonna talk about the Australia show quickly because I'm streaming the Fundora weigh-in, and I'm gonna put the audio on the mic when the main event comes up so that people can listen in at the same time that we are. Okay. George Kambosos versus late replacement Jake Wiley. I guess Kambosos not selling too many tickets. Not really too interested in that fight because we all know, and this
Yeah.
is something else that I'm seeing a pattern here with late replacements for
Yeah.
these not Ring Magazine, but the Riyadh season type
Yeah.
events. Late replacements on the main event when
Yeah.
there is discussion of the follow-on fight on the horizon. The follow-on fight for him is against Richardson Hitchens, Africa, for the belt. And so I think this is going to be a gimme for Cambosa as long as he don't kick it in the kick it in the stands, I should say. He should be good, and he'll fight Richardson Hitchens at some point later this year. The one I really want to watch though is this Sky Nicholson, WBC featherweight champion.
Yeah, them
You
girls
know,
gonna go crazy.
allegedly Eddie Hearn's girl, according to social media, of course. Um, and
I have no
you know,
applause for this.
she's
You have what?
fighting. She's
Have
fighting.
they found video? Is there videos of them? What are
No,
they doing?
they found the Air Force
Hooking
Ones on
up?
on
Oh
the corner
no.
of the picture.
Oh
No,
no.
I
Spicy
don't know
videos in
them.
the back of a limo? What?
I don't know them.
Uh, anyway, like in all seriousness, that fight versus Tierra Brown,
Yeah.
Tierra Brown, Tierra Brown is ready. She is. Listen, she's been ready for this opportunity for 5 years already.
He's giving that
She's like,
Bob Gardner energy right now.
yeah, she's 36 years old. Listen, the boxing game, we're not stupid. They A lot of those champions were waiting for her to age out, bro. Like the time to fight her wasn't 5 years ago because that was too big of a risk. The time to fight her is now, and that's what they're going off of. I still think it might be too big of a risk. I think Tierra Brown is so hungry to prove a point because she's been shunned out
Mm-hmm.
for so long. Like I told Mikey this to a lesser extent. Like she's giving me like Roberto Duran Panama Canal vibes
Wow. Wow.
because
Wow.
I think that she's gonna take out all her anger and frustration that she's been blackballed
Yeah.
throughout the years on
Yeah.
Nicholson
I'd be
tomorrow.
worried if I
I
was
feel
fighting
that.
her. I'd be worried about that. You said she's 36 years old. They're hoping she's past her prime. Brilliant. Thank you for that New York forthright summation. That's the frickin' truth. What you said before, though, about why Jake Wiley subbing in and all these A or B sides flipping out late from over there, you picked up on that. I don't dig it. It's now happening too much. B side, the replacement B side is often worse, and the odds in their disfavor are much worse. And it's just the acceptance level of it is different now. Dubois, Daniel Dubois, right? Oh, I'm sick, whatever. Floyd Schofield, oh, I'm sick. No one's even pretending they have to prove it anymore. That's
Mhm.
not good for credibility, guys.
So weird.
Anyone
So
talking
weird.
about having to fix boxing or whatever, if you're involved in that, that's not fixing.
Yeah, and we got our favorite New Zealand caller here. What's up, man?
Hey
Go
guys,
ahead.
sorry, I had a few mic problems, but thanks for having me back on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Listen, we were
What
talking
up,
about
Jay?
we were
What's
talking
up?
about Sky Nicholson and Tierra Brown. Thoughts on that one? Look, tough sell. Daniel Gaylor said tough sell. George has lost 3 of the last 4, and the Saturday show in football season is risky. I don't disagree with that. But Sky Nicholson, Tierra Brown, what you think about it? I may just as a disclaimer, I may cut you off here in a few minutes because Fundora-Booker and Sebastian Fundora are about to weigh in. So go ahead and give it to me before I hit the volume on this.
Yeah, sure. I think Sky Nicholson's probably going to win. I don't really pay too much attention to women's boxing, but yeah, she's a young fighter, so yeah, she's probably going to win. And plus, the promoters are behind her big time.
Literally.
I didn't mean it like I didn't actually mean it like that,
Promoters behind her.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Since you brought it up, I'll say it like this: they're behind her money wise, but they're also behind her like Eddie Hearn was behind Ebony Bridges when he started freaking out and like, oh shit, my wife's going to see this. Right, since you brought it up.
Oh yeah, Bridges too. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, she just gave birth.
The Kel's kid.
Yeah, to Kel Brook.
Yeah, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Who had a baby with Kel Brook?
Ebony Bridges.
No, I mean Kel Brook.
Yeah.
I mean that guy's just no. But I wanted before you go or before we you go to the weigh-ins, guys. I just wanted to say, and I hate to say this, but it looks like we're heading to a bit of another Cold War with this whole David Benavidez, Dmitry Bivol situation. I was hoping it wasn't going to happen, but I've debated a lot of these pro Al Heyman channels, and I didn't. It's hard when you debate these people who are very. And I'm cool with some of them. They're great guys and great girls, but when they're very passionately defending, somebody from a American perspective and like patriotic wise, and you're saying like it's hard to not come across as pro Turkey. I'm like, no, I'm pro boxing. I don't give a damn about Turki Alalshikh, but it looks like Turki Alalshikh is about to pull an Al Heyman and say, nope, has to be on my side of the street. And of course, Samson Lukowicz, who I've got issues with, but he's not budging because Al Heyman knows, and this is just painfully obvious. I get called a Rick Blazer shill every time I say this. If Al Heyman lets David Benavidez go, his business is dead. Like PBC is literally hanging on by its last fingernail. So yeah, I hate to say it, but it looks like we're heading to another situation where these promoters won't put on a big fight, and yeah, it's looking pretty ugly.
All right, I'm gonna cut you off here. Fundora-Booker is about to hit the scales.
All right, brother.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah, I can see it. Hear it.
The weight limit is a very strict 154 pounds.
I just don't want to get kicked out. That's why I'm just putting audio.
Yeah.
Who's the top contender vying for this title? Cordell the Gift Booker.
Fundora-Booker is on the scale.
152.6.
Oh.
152.6.
He looks in shape too.
Yeah.
It's a good weight for
Now
him.
the reigning and defending WBC and WBO 154-pound champion of the world, the Towering Inferno,
There we go. Towering
Sebastian
Inferno.
Fundora. 152.8 pounds.
Oh.
Both.
Whoa. Interesting.
153.
They want to Crawford, huh?
Interesting. So, let's get into that then. Let's go right into that. Fundora-Booker. This fight, right? A lot of people are overlooking Booker.
Yeah.
And Fundora. This is my thing, and I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure if what Fundora is going to look like post the Tim Tszyu fight. We saw what Tim Tszyu looked like post that fight, and he seemed like a piece of him was left in that ring that night from the Fundora fight in March or whatever it was. Fundora has not fought since that night. will we see the same thing with Fundora? Is Booker catching him at the right time? Even though, like, if everything was even, we would be saying no, Fundora is going to win, no problem. But do we really know that Fundora himself didn't leave a piece of himself that night and is going to come maybe a shell of his former self? Zach, we'll start with you first.
Bro, Fundora has been through shit. He fought you. Did you see the fight with him, Erickson Lewison?
Yeah. But has it been too
You,
much, though?
you leave yourself in that fight. You leave a little bit of yourself
Yeah.
in the Tim Tszyu fight. That's no joke. I first met Booker at a card. We both fought on the same card in North Carolina one time, and it was a card that I never even got paid for, and I fought for free that night, and just to stay busy. And Cordell Brooker, he fought, and me and him were cool ever since. He's never had his big shots. You understand? Very low key, very nice guy.
Mhm.
You understand? Working man, and he's a guy that he can take this opportunity and turn it into a life-changing experience for him.
Mhm.
And I hope he does well. And I hope he does good. And I'm rooting for him. I like Sebastian. He's a very nice guy. Him and his team are very good people. But I would like Cordell Booker to pull off this upset. But it is gonna be a tall order because even though Sebastian's been through a lot of wars and he's left a lot of himself in a lot of the ring, he's still this tall, awkward fighter that has came in shape. Now, if he would have came in 155 and had to lose a pound, then we might be talking a little bit different. He came 152.8. He's in motherfucking shape. He has a great team, and it's not gonna be easy for Cordell to get past this guy. But don't count out a guy that's fresh and hungry, who's fighting a guy who's maybe tired a little bit.
Woodsy.
I appreciate Zach and that New York, whatever, because he says he's in motherfucking shape. And I appreciate someone like swearing and being more inappropriate than me.
I'm
Thank
just,
you.
uh,
Nah, it's appropriate. You know I like it. Come on. Um, so possibility that it's a Lamont Roach situation, that the guy that's been toiling for 10 years and has never got that big opportunity, and like Tiara Brown, and rises to the occasion, and Christopher may be outboxing, being the better ring general for 7 of the 12 rounds. Is that a possibility? Zach and probably Abe knows better than I, Styles making fights and all that,
yes, they
but I
do.
was considering that as I'm looking at this fight. And thank you to both of you and Zach especially for telling viewers now that a little bit gets taken from you in those really rugged wars. We just watching them on YouTube. You guys are living them, and so I think eyes really wide open on what could happen in this fight. Smartly, I don't know enough about Booker's uh, in-ring style to know if it exactly matches up Styles making fights, but I would be curious, what are the odds? He seems like a really good B-side odds possibility on paper to me in my mind.
Good
And
But
I'm
I
fight
glad,
don't
nights.
know.
and before I go to Jay, I'm glad you mentioned the odds. So Sebastian is Fundora is minus 1400. Cordell is plus 750 now.
Oh my God. Fuck.
Sebastian, and this is on DraftKings. Sebastian is minus 200 for a KO, plus 210 for a decision, and then Cordell by knockouts plus 1200, and Cordell by decision is at plus 2000.
Little $250 on the plus, for 1,200 for the knockout. Tall, skinny
Yeah,
guy, might get clipped a little bit.
yeah. I mean, Mendoza situation can always happen, right?
Mhm.
Jay, what are you thinking about the fight? If you're still there, what do you think about the matchup, and how do you see this one going down, given both fighters coming off their last fight?
Yeah, I'm still here. First of all, I've got some roadworks on my street. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
You good?
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've got mixed feelings on this fight because on the one hand, Booker shouldn't be in the ring with Fundora. But at the same time, he's not a bad fighter, and I've got a lot of questions about Fundora. And I'm not saying this because I'm from this part of the world, but if Tim Tszyu didn't get cut, he would have won that fight. I still, and this is irrelevant, and people are really gonna take this out of context because Tim Tszyu got smashed by Murtazaliev. But I thought Tim Tszyu, despite being blind, still won that fight. So, with that being said, I was very impressed with Fundora showing character after he lost to Mendoza. I mean, that's a hard knockout to come back from. So much respect to him. But I'm a fan of the guy as a person, but as a fighter, I've got a lot of questions about. Like, I don't know if he can actually control range still. I mean, and if he can't,
Yep.
this has the potential for Brian Mendoza 2.0. So my instinct, with that being said, Booker is, appreciate what you said, Zach. He's a good guy, but he shouldn't be in the ring. So I'm going to go with Fundora, but I'm going to go with him by decision. I think there's just a lot of questions. Like Tim Tszyu, despite again being completely blind, was still able to get up on Fundora's chest throughout the fight, and that should have never been able to happen because Tim Tszyu literally could not see straight. So plus Booker, he's got a reasonably good punch on him, but everything that you shouldn't do he does a lot of things you shouldn't do. He telegraphs his shots, he winds up a lot, he squares up. So Fundora really should be able to win this pretty handily. So I've got Fundora by decision, but I would not be surprised if this looks like the name escapes me. Just give me a sec.
What are you about to say? What fight are you gonna say? You gonna say a fight?
I think it was Fundora's last interim title defense.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Fundora's. I'm just going to look it up while I talk. But Fundora's last title defense, he went the distance with a guy who was a fringe contender, and he should not. Again,
Ocampo.
It was Ocampo. Thank you, my brother. Yes. The Ocampo fight, he won clearly, but he was getting hit way too much in that fight, given how tall he is. So I think this is going to look similar to that fight because Booker has again decent technique. So there's a bit of a ramble, but I've got Fundora by decision, but I think it's going to look a lot closer than it should.
What about Paul Williams? Remember Paul Williams? I was going to say something similarity between Paul Williams when he fought the Spanish dude.
Sergio Martinez.
No, he lost. No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
The other one, the other guy. I forgot his name. Paul Williams, and he was not the other guy was not supposed to win this fight. What you said?
Quintana?
I think that yes.
I'll look it up.
Carlos
Go ahead.
Quintana. Carlos Quintana.
Maybe.
Are you talking about Kermit Cintron or?
No, not Kermit Cintron. No, not Kermit Cintron. Everybody remembers that one.
Let me see. Sergio.
I know it's Puerto Rican, but Quintana.
Carlos Quintana.
Yes, Carlos Quintana.
Yeah.
Yep. It could be like that. He was supposed to win that fight, and he came.
Yeah, he lost by using unanimous decision.
And the reason why I say that is because Paul Williams is a tall guy.
And see, this is the thing also, like Fundora, as Steve Kim always politely says, activity matters. He's only fought once the last 2 years, like every year. You can't do that and think that you're going to be at the top of your game, bro. Like at some point that's going to catch up to you. And he, as far as what Jay was saying, Fundora kind of he's lived in the inside and allowed people to work in there. But that also comes with a price because you can get hit with an elbow by Fundora because he's so big, like Tszyu, right? But he also, because he has those long arms, might not be able to bring those arms back fast enough when throwing some punches. And if Booker can get in there and time his shots, because if you look at Booker fights, he doesn't throw like a lot of punches, but he throws punches when it matters. And if he's cementally planted and is able to get a good shot in while in the inside, he can do it. A lot of times he throws a lot of arm punches. It's kind of off balance when he does that. And so it's just gonna really depend. This may not be the one that gets the, but I'm interested because it may very well be.
And
Um, and
what sanctioning body is on this?
so he's got the WBO and the WBC titles.
And they're both on the
Um,
line?
yes,
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
So
Wow.
now the WBO is going to call for the mandatory after this fight, and the number one contender is Xander Zayas. So we may get Booker versus not Booker, but Fundora versus Zayas, later this year if they can make it happen.
Oh,
And
wow.
Xander Zayas is a beast. Like he's looking like I'm pretty sure he's going to be a world champion someday. Like I think this division is the most stacked in boxing right now, and it's an interesting one because Fundora, he was coming off a loss. Like he never should have got that title shot against Tim Tszyu, but he did. And again, if the cut didn't happen, he would have never won the fight. But we don't really look at him like he is a unified champion, and partly is because you've got guys like Virgil Ortiz, who I think is the best guy right now, and Murtaza Aliev, who just shocked my expectations. And these guys can punch. And Fundora, well, we'll see. I mean, what I really liked about the Tim Tszyu fight is, again, it's, cut aside, Fundora made all the right adjustments technically. The problem is that Tim Tszyu, despite being blind, was still able to get up on his chest, and that should never happen. So we'll see. It's I do think this is. I don't think we're going to learn a lot about how good Fundora is, but we're going to see technically how much he's improved. And I think the layoff actually might have been okay for him because, I mean, it's horrible when a guy gets laid off because you have a promoter who can't give you dates, but I think it might have actually been okay for him because he had a layoff before the Tim Tszyu fight, and again, cut and circumstances aside, he actually made all the right improvements. So I'm still interested. I hope we don't end up in another situation where Fundora has to take time off because Al Heyman refuses to throw in the towel. I mean, and it's not just Al Heyman who does this. I need to clarify this every time I go on these shows. Every promoter does this. Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, and people say, "Oh, why don't you talk about them?" Because they're not the ones who are screwing things up right now, morons. It's a problem with all promoters. But if he becomes an Al Heyman lackey and gets laid off because of it, then I'm gonna start having to do my best Alex Jones impression and say, "This is ridiculous."
All right, listen. I just got a message from old Gabe Rivas from Top Rank. Shout out to Gabe. He politely reminded me that I have a Zoom with Elvis Rodriguez here in about 30 minutes. So
wrap it up, motherfucker.
I'm gonna be wrapping this thing up.
The fight I want to see, the fight I'm not actually excited to see, is Eubank Ben. Boy, they gonna smoke.
And we're gonna jump into that.
They gonna smoke.
We're gonna jump into that as we get closer. So
and
listen,
don't sleep on one time Keith Thurman that just did his thing real quick.
Oh yeah, Keith Thurman.
Layoff kick, by the way, Jay. Layoff kick.
Yo, Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu. Sign me up for that. Well, listen, last final flurries or last hits, Zach. Card tomorrow. Just anything in boxing that has your attention, and then let the people know where they can find you.
I mean, right now I'm looking at that girls fight. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the girls fight. That's gonna be a real good one. But I can't wait to see if Cordell Brooker could change his life or just or give it a good fight to where he makes a name for himself. Because Fundora has both titles, so it's gonna be good. It's real interesting in boxing, so that's what I'm excited for. And everybody look out for me on the next show, man. You know what I'm saying? It's Zachary Ochoa.
That's what's up. And then Woodsy, you're gonna be calling fights tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be calling fights. I might even use this. I might use this voice for no good reason.
Is he chilling?
I want to say, pay a little attention to Rockin' Fights number 50. You can watch it on Star Boxing's channel. I'll be putting that information on Twitter /X at Woodsy1069, number 1. And then number 2, please do the right thing. If you're a fan, watcher, or boxing fan, go to fightsatw.com. It's A to Z coverage. Also, you got your wrestling in there. The combination is as good as is being done anywhere on the web. This guy gives a shit. fightsatw.com.
Thank you. And Jay, final
Yeah.
words.
I'm going to give Al Heyman some credit here. We've got Jesus Ramos making a quick turnaround, which is great. This guy should be undefeated. He's a young kid, and I think he's a fantastic addition to this, in my opinion, the best division in boxing right now. So looking forward to seeing him back. Again, there's intrigue there with the main event, and if I could just plug my channel for a second, Fight Sport Talk, I'll be getting back into regular uploads. I'll be doing lives on my channel soon, and I'd love to collab with you guys because, we always have great discussions. You guys run a fantastic show. Mike, I will definitely check out your work. Who do you do commentary for? Because this is the first time I've heard from you.
So Lineker Media, who is Mark Fratto. Mark Fratto is in the stadium MC for the Washington Commanders in the NFL and the Wizards in the NBA. And he is also a producer and has produced live boxing events since 2017. I'll be calling fights at Caribe in Florida on April 18th as well. So, but mostly for Lineker Media, and that is Mark Fratto, who is, hey, listen, I try to only deal with people that are okay people, and okay people is Abe G and Mark Fratto. And I'm not saying there aren't others beyond that, but these guys are fucking A grade. And I'd like Eddie Hearn behind Sky Nicholson. I'll be behind him, and he fucking.
Damn.
Look, let me. I honestly didn't mean to throw. I was not intending to throw Eddie Hearn under the bus until
Mic drop, motherfucker.
Abe, until you
say
made that.
nothing. I say nothing because I could be doing business before these guys, so I say nothing.
Nah, fucking say it. He don't care.
I'm just gonna. Okay, well, look, I've got no dislike for Eddie Hearn, but I do have some issue. I do have issues with him. I said recently on several shows, one of the things I'll never forgive him for is promoting Edgar Berlanga like he's a world-class fighter. I will. That is a sin. You, my friend, have sinned beyond recognition. And you guys, Zach, I'd love to be on again when you guys discuss Ben and Eubank, because I've got some things to say about that. But I'll just plug one last thing. And it's people are going to say, "Oh, it's because you're a New Zealander," blah blah blah. But there's some reasons for this. I've got some real issues with how this Alexander Usyk Joseph Parker fight is not going to happen, and they're looking at Daniel Dubois again. It's not because they're ducking Joseph Parker. I want to make that clear. But I really don't like how Joseph Parker is right now is the highest level fighter who's getting frozen out by the top 10, and it's really frustrating.
They are ducking him, aren't they?
They playing him, man.
Okay, that's maybe for another day, because I don't want to drag this on. But
man, we got to get out of here, man.
Yeah. I'll say whether it's ducking or not, they're not fighting him, and that's really pissing me off. But yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys, as always. And look forward to being on again. You guys run a great show. Peace out to all three of you.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And listen, on just one last final note that I meant to mention before, but if Jesus Ramos looks good, don't be surprised. According to Tom Brown, kind of like edged it on a little bit. Jesus Ramos versus Jamel Charlo in the summer. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. But anyway, shout out to the 326 folks that are in here with us today. We appreciate it. It's Friday afternoon. Go enjoy it. For those that got paid, go do your thing. It's Friday night. Just got paid. You already know.
Don't defend it, motherfucker.
Yo, Cordell Booker by 1,200 points. Go put a little $50.
Put a little $10 on it.
Zach? You running a book?
I might.
Now for all those out there, if you are going to put some wagers, go visit signupexpert.com/fightsatw, which is streaming across the bottom of your screen there for all the best sports books in your region and new sign up deals daily. Thank you very much.
Do it.
Enjoy your weekend, fellas, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.